Grand Rising, you guys. Welcome to Kalel Speaks. I am Kalel, also known as Katie J the Indigo. Hey y'all. Um, so I'm doing TARS right now. I'm gonna do you guys' reading without any manipulatives. Just because I feel like it'll already have the message, and I just kind of want to get it out. And I don't feel like you guys really need a visual point of reference for what I'm going to say. Okay. I feel like you guys already know on some level. This is just a confirmation for many of you. But I feel like 2025. Hold on one second, guys. An alarm is going off and I gotta get it. Okay, sorry about that. I have an alarm that goes off. I've been up um since about four something because of my son, but my alarm goes off at 5:30 in the morning every day, and I'm up before it, so I had to, shut that down. Sorry for the interruption. Brief intermission. Anyway, um, I feel like last year for you guys was a heavy transitionary period, right? 2025 was a heavy transitionary period for you guys. And I feel like, Taurus, when you guys go through transitionary periods, it can be extremely awkward. I feel like that one was particularly rough, okay? And so you struggled with it. I feel like a lot of you guys, if you were not being a bull in the china shop, I feel like you were behaving like a bull in a china shop, okay? Um, I feel like internally, some of you were externally crashing out, but internally you were crashing out. And I feel like you weren't really sure as to where the imbalance was coming from. I feel like you guys felt like it was some sort of outside influence, maybe. And you weren't sure where it was coming from exactly. But I feel like now you have taken on this kind and helpful demeanor because you realize that your actions had consequences. All that negative energy, even if you were reacting to something, had consequences. And I feel like um, reacting to those perceived attacks may have generated some negative karma that you're realizing is afoot. Okay, it's happening, it's taking place now. Taurus, what I feel like God would like for me to let you know is that there is no rushing the process. Okay, I feel like you guys have taken on that demeanor because you're trying to make up for what you did or account for, the karma. You're trying to combat it somehow. And honey, let me tell you, okay, let me tell you something to you, okay? Like there is no rushing that process, okay? If you got it, then you kind of gotta eat the L, all right? Not to say that there aren't things that you could be doing right now. um it's a good thing that you're trying to clean it up now, so that way it can, I feel like it can maybe shorten the time span that you spend going through such a thing. But um however, I do feel um that you're kind of like cloaking as another sign, or possibly one of the more gentle types, like Pisces or Cancer kind of energy. um but I do feel that, like, you have to realize, Taurus, that you are indeed a gentle giant, okay? And you don't have to take on another energy. It's just the fact that you have to be mindful of when you're going through your transitionary periods, or when something is going on in your life. Taurus, you have the tendency to internalize. And you have to realize that that cannot be the case. You cannot internalize, okay? You have to take advantage of those resources that you have, maybe friends or family members that you have that are willing to understand where you're coming from, what's going on, why that's happening in your life, you know, so on and so forth. Maybe you just need a shoulder to cry on, or you could need possibly somebody like me. Maybe you have someone to give you spiritual advice. Um, you might be praying more or something of that nature, which highly recommended. Okay, there is nothing better than dropping down to your knees and just saying, "Hey, look, God, help me." Okay. Um, I feel like the 72nd Psalm would be particularly helpful for you in this moment. And just, you got to remember not to lose yourself. Okay. Um, I feel like what you guys are going through right now is that you might be receiving a little bit of pushback. Um, you're trying to make a difference, but it seems like there's a little bit of resistance. Taurus, it's you. You're resisting the process, and you got to realize you have to let it go down. I know that a Taurus's biggest fear is feeling like you're not in control. Okay, you got to feel like you're in control of yourself, the situation, or there's something that you can do that can possibly turn things in your favor. Okay, but what you have to understand is, and I feel like you're coming to understand, is that your energy in itself, you're just, how can I put this? You're coming to understand that it is best to kind of go with the flow of the universe and kind of take things as they come. You know, like, do what you can to manifest your best life. Like, put out as much positive energy as you can. But also, I want to say, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, but you can do so in such a way that it generates negativity for you. I feel like sometimes you guys did things last year, right? You guys did things and you may have thought that it was in, you may have had, good intention or in goodwill or whatever. But I feel like you guys kind of jumped the gun in some situations. I feel like you went ahead and you reacted to something that maybe had nothing to do with you at all. Maybe you felt like you were defending a friend, a family member, whatever, and you unleashed some negativity. Okay, because you're like, yeah, I'm about my family, I'm about my friend, or you're not going to disrespect my boundaries. Okay, cool, right? Maybe it was done with good intention, but I feel like some of you guys, because you addressed it, you took on something that you shouldn't have during a transitionary period, you went overboard. Okay, you kind of overreacted to the situation. And so with that being the case, I just kind of feel like now you're like, okay, so maybe that wasn't the best way to go about the situation. You're kind of having an aha moment right now. You're coming out of that. Some of you guys are coming out of a dark night of the soul, right? And some of you guys are just recognizing that you could afford to handle things a little bit differently, okay? And that makes sense. Okay, so I know that moving forward, it can feel weird, but I would just say take the time to meditate, understand where the energy is coming from, and learn to differentiate between like you, how you personally feel, and others. I know that a lot of Tauruses are empaths. I have a little Taurus empath, and I know that she has a tendency to crash out simply because she doesn't know how to shield. So at times she may feel she may feel heavy emotions and not understand that she's picking up on adults, and she doesn't know how to shield yet. And I feel like, Taurus, while your empathic abilities may be your greatest strength, you must learn to shield. You must learn to differentiate between how you feel and when you're picking up on others. And you gotta stop taking on things that do not belong to you. Some things, Taurus, are just not your fight. Okay? And also, you have to remember that there's ways that you can help without crashing out. There's ways that you can defend your family member or your friend, or you can be there without exacerbating the issue. Okay? Understand when you're in a transitionary period, when you feel a little awkward internally, you're experiencing a little bit of variance, like, take that time to meditate and center yourself and focus on self-care. Remember not to take that out on the outside world, and remember not to overreact to everyday situations. Okay, we all go through things. Some situations are maybe it takes a little bit longer to untangle from, or detach from, or relax from. Sometimes it takes things, takes a while for the energy of things to kind of balance out, and you got to remember that that's fine. That is the flow of life. Everything is not going to be fine and dandy all the time. Everything is not going to be perfect. You're not going to be in control all the time, right? Because let's be honest, God is always driving. We're not in control of squat, okay? Like, we just kind of, God does what she does. We got to agree, right? So I feel like that is going to be your challenge this year in 2026, okay? Is remembering that and holding fast to who you are at your core, what your goals are, and your own emotions. You have to find and maintain your own emotional stability. Find your center, Taurus, okay? And stay there no matter what is going on around you. Stay there, okay? Even when it feels like things are coming at you left and right, just remember, like, okay, this could be a test. This could be just a moment that I'm having in my life. I could be going through a transitionary period. But you got to remember to take that quiet time to kind of ponder upon what is going on, and maybe a better way to handle the situation that plays to your strengths, but it doesn't make it doesn't make someone else feel weak or powerless, and it doesn't generate negative karma for you. Okay? So that's what I have for you guys. I hope it helped. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you would like to book a personal, any information that you need to know is in the description box below. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.